So today we're going to learn the kind of basics of the clarinet. We're going to learn how to assemble the clarinet and the different parts. We're going to learn the embouchure, so how you hold your mouth and how you produce sound. First we're going to learn the holding position, and then we're going to learn the notes for very heavy little land. So that's kind of our little surprise and prize at the end. All right. So the first part that we're going to start with assembly is our bell.
Bell.
Okay, yeah. And it looks like a bell, so that's a good reminder. The reason we start with this is, why do you think?
Because it's the bottom.
Yeah, it's flat, so you can put it on your leg while you're assembling it.
Okay.
All right. And so the first part that's going to go on the bell is called the lower joint. Will you say that for me?
Lower joint.
Okay. This has some keys for different notes, different auxiliary keys. And the cork part of that is actually going to go inside the bell. So what you're going to do to put it on is a twisting motion, but you're going to try not to hold down any of the keys too hard.
Okay.
You don't want to bend them. So go ahead and do that for me. Yeah, just make sure to cover all of that cork. Good, perfect. Awesome. All right, and this part is going to go on top of it. Since that's called the lower joint, what do you think this is called?
The upper joint.
Yes, good job. And so this one is kind of special because you see this little part here, this little metal part? Okay. That's actually called the bridge, and it attaches the different keys on this upper joint to the lower joint. And so that attaches to this part here. And what we want to do is we don't want to just put it on, because then those would collide with each other.
Okay.
And there's a potential of bending them or damaging them. So what we're going to do when we put it on is really make sure we keep this held down, but not pressing down.
Okay.
We just don't want those running into each other.
Okay.
So go ahead and do that for me. So hold down on this key. Yeah. Get it lined up right over it. Yeah, we can kind of check it by doing this. Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Use those ones for us. Awesome. Now what we're going to do is attach this little thing called the barrel. It's kind of just a little medium piece, and it helps us attach the mouthpiece to the rest of the instrument.
Okay.
So you're going to use the twisting motion again, but do you think you should twist this part or this part?
Probably that part.
Why?
Because we lined this stuff up.
Yeah, so we don't want to get that out of alignment because you already worked so hard. So go ahead and attach that.
With the big part down?
Yes, yeah. All right, looks good. And this piece is our mouthpiece. We have a nice little cap for our case because the tip of this is very fragile, and if it gets knocked on stuff, it could get bent or chipped.
Okay.
So this has some cork as well, and that's going to go into the barrel. This part, this flat part here, is called the table, and that's where we set our reed. What we're going to do is we're going to line that up with this thumb rest back here. So you're going to line that table up with that. All right, looks good. And then this piece, you may have noticed that I had it on the mouthpiece, but I took it off before we put it on.
Yes.
This is called the ligature. Say that for me.
Ligature.
Kind of a hard word. And it has very, very thin metal. This is used to keep the reed in place when we put it onto our mouthpiece. And so we're going to save that until we have the mouthpiece on there firm.
Okay.
So you can go ahead and put that on, and the wider part will be going on first. Cool. And then once we get our reed, you see these two sets of lines here.
Yes.
This will go in between those once we get our reed secured on there.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Now the important part, the reed. We should have been wetting this before, but you can go ahead and put this in your mouth now. This is a 3-level reed, and your tongue will rest on this side that has the kind of dip in it, not the flat side. The flat side will go on the instrument eventually. So you can put that in your mouth to wet it a little bit. Yeah, just put it on in there. And what we're going to do, I'll explain while you get that wet, is the reed is actually going to go in between this ligature. So we have it all loosened, and our mouthpiece. And it's gonna rest on our table like we said. And what we're going to do, you saw the tip of that reed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which we never wanna touch, because we might damage it. But that's gonna be lined up with this tip here, it has the same kind of curve. And so then we're gonna put the thick end of the reed in between the ligature and the tube. So you can go ahead and take it out, and then so you can hold the ligature, and then you can put the reed in with the thick part down, yeah. Oh, it helps if you put it up a little bit more,
Okay.
and then lower it as the reed is coming.
There we go.
Yeah. So we'll lower it
And
into
don't
those
touch
lines.
Mhm.
Yeah, and so as we keep this in place, making sure that it's really centered with the table,
Yes.
we will tighten these, so go ahead and tighten them. Not too much so that it's like clenched on there, but enough so that it'll stay in position. Kind of tiny screws so they take forever.
Mhm.
Look good?
Okay.
Not moving around? Okay, looks nice and centered. Alright, so now what we're gonna do is talk about the holding position.
Okay.
So on clarinet, your left hand is on top and your right hand is on bottom. So your left. Your left.
My left.
Um,
Oh, well, that.
and so, as you already put it there, but
Oh, okay.
this is where all of your support of the instrument is gonna rest. You don't want to be supporting with any of the other fingers or thumbs because they're all on keys and you don't wanna be leaning too much on those.
Okay.
This is where all of the weight is kind of resting. And, your left hand will help balance it and your mouth will help balance it, but that's where your main support comes from. And so what I want you to think about with your hands is that they're kind of C's. Obviously the right hand is a backward C for you, but we don't want them to be too tense, and we want them to kind of be poised over the keys that they're playing. So if you put your right thumb on that rest again, we are going to poise our fingers over the keys they will play. And on the clarinet, these three fingers get the most action.
Okay.
So those three big keys are where our fingers are gonna go. And yeah, when we're thinking about playing them, we want the most coverage possible. So this isn't gonna give us as much coverage as the big fleshy part.
Okay.
So the pads of our fingers, I like to say the pads of our fingers go to the pads of the keys.
Okay.
So yeah, that looks good for coverage. And then the pinky will kind of just hang out nice and relaxed over here,
Okay.
but it won't press any of these keys. Okay, and so now with the left hand, we have a bit of an issue because we don't have a rest, right? So where does that come from? This key back here is called the register key.
Okay.
That helps us go into different ranges of the instrument, highs and lows. And so the left thumb is going to be on that register key, and it's going to kind of be at 2 o'clock. So it's kind of like saying what time it is. It's at like a 20 to 30 degree angle with the instrument. And then just like our right hand, it's going to kind of form a C around. This one's a little different because you want to put it there, right?
Yes.
That's actually not the key we're going to go for. We're going to go for the two that are open, and then the third one has no metal. So that's kind of how you can feel it. Always feel for that no metal one in your ring finger. Good. And another thing we want to look at with this is, this key is right here, right?
Yes.
We never want to lean our index finger on that, because that'll cause lots of weird sounds to come out.
Okay.
Okay, so now that we have our holding position kind of down, we're going to talk about our embouchure.
Okay.
So you can go ahead and rest this on your lap. That's kind of the resting position. Making sure not to touch the reed to anything, obviously. And I want you to say ooey, ooey, and you kind of keep that purse of your lips. And go ahead and touch that. Touch how that feels. Ooey.
Ooey.
Yeah. And so
Ooey.
what do you feel in the corners?
It's like a bump. It's like
Yeah.
tensed.
It's hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what's going to be stopping the air from going anywhere but inside the clarinet.
Okay.
We don't want any air to leak out because we're losing all the air that we're putting in, right? We want that for our playing. So what you're going to do is go ahead and let's imagine the mouthpiece. So what we're going to do is the tips of our teeth are going to go on this part of the mouthpiece. You can see it's already kind of ingrained in there from whoever has played it before. Don't worry, it's fine.
Okay.
But yeah, so so the tips are going to go on that part of the mouthpiece, and then our bottom lip is going to be another support. Like I was saying before, it's not where all the weight lies, but it's part of the support. So our lip is going to go over our teeth, just so that there's a little bit of pink showing. Yeah, yeah, and make sure not to go and pull it back, but kind of just keep it open a little bit, and then, yeah, open and relaxed should be your job. Okay, so why don't you go ahead and try to put the mouthpiece in and just feel how that feels.
So like tops my teeth.
Kind of think of the lip as being rolled over. Yeah, rolled over and on the back of the bead. Okay, good. Yeah, and so go ahead and take it out again. When we're thinking about starting our sound, we're thinking about the tongue being in the way and then getting out of the way. So when we want good airflow, our tongue will be out of the way and kind of arched. But when we want to put a break in between that airflow, our tongue is going to touch the tip of the reed. So it'll be the bottom of the tip of the reed, tip of the tongue to tip of the reed. It's kind of a tongue twister. So you can go ahead and try to say, think about your teeth as being the reed. So tip of the tongue to your teeth, and then da, 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 da. Yeah. So when you take the tongue away, you have all of that airflow. So go ahead and put your instrument up again to your mouth. And you can go ahead and put your thumb on the register key and then one finger here. Yeah, and so don't touch any of these, but you can still use your thumb for your support. And yeah, go ahead and try to produce a note. Thinking about your tight corners, don't want any air to leak out. Good, yes, good breath support.
Cool.
Awesome. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to learn the different notes to Marietta Little Lamb. So it's E is what you just played with one finger. Just go ahead and play through this with me. D is 2 fingers. And then C is 3 fingers with that one that doesn't have the metal. Yeah. So we don't do anything with the right hand. Do. So why don't you go ahead and try to play that? And right now we won't do any like da da da. We'll just go da. Just slur it. That's what it's called when you don't have a break in it. So go ahead and try that. Remember not to push back. Just open it. Think about your big breath from your stomach, remember? Yeah, big breath, lots of support. Put your feet flat. Yes, good. Yeah. It's okay. Try taking the mouthpiece out a little bit. So not too far inside your mouth, just a little bit out. Just a little.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah. That's the one that's always going to
That's the
confuse
one I
us,
don't
right?
touch.
It's really far away, so you have to remember that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so that's a good lesson in itself. There you go.
I didn't have my finger on it all the
Yeah,
way.
when you only have it like halfway, it kind of gets like a weird like
Yes.
half sound. So yeah, make sure pads to pads, remember? There you go. Okay, let's do one more minute.
Okay.
Ooh, here, hold on. Let's make sure that we don't miss this one. That's what was happening right there. Yeah. So make sure you keep your good open C. I know it's a lot of things to think about. Open C, flat fingers. There you go. Yeah.
Okay.
So go ahead and try one more time.
Okay.
Yeah. You could even play it if you want. So it would be 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 1, 1, and then you would be doing the da da da. So your tongue would. So you could go 1, 2, 3, breathe. 3, 2, 1, 1, 1. Yeah. So go ahead and try that. Maybe we had a little. Oh, you're good. Hand position. think we're out of time.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.